sessions and whatnot, please feel free to send those to the new address, which is info@projectenrich.org. Is that right? Info@projectenrich.org, and then we can post those, and or any feedback, or any comments you have about the experience. We want to post that on the website too. But and we'll be, as I also told Brother Riley, we'll be putting out press releases to help get the word out throughout the community about Project ENRICH. And so that's our public relations effort, myself and Brother Kelly from the Public Relations Committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Alexander. Is Miss Kayla Randolph on? She's going to be taking our female initiative that started last year with women professional etiquette. Miss Randolph?
I'm here. Good morning.
Good morning. Would you like to share what I got expectations you would have, or what you're going to bring for the ladies this year?
Yeah, so thank you for the invitation. I'm Kayla Randolph. I know James is working at U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. And yeah, so I'm going to work with the ladies about professional but I also want to expand the existing agenda. So, for example, when we get to the critical thinking next month, we'll probably do a session on critical thinking for women in leadership, and so on and so forth. So expanding upon the existing agenda that Mr. Riley has created, but specifically for the young ladies. So dealing with women in entrepreneurship and leadership.
Thank you, Ms. Randolph. Brother Reese, would you like to talk about your segment on the men aspect of Project ENRICH?
Good morning, brothers, and Project ENRICH group. Again, I want to join the other brothers in welcoming everyone back to Project ENRICH, including our new members. We're certainly excited about the opportunities that are available going into this new fiscal year with the new action going on with COVID-19 and Project ENRICH is adopting. I'm sorry. Can you hear me? Sorry. And we're certainly excited about adapting to the new requirements we have to deal with the COVID-19 perspective. What we want to continue with the male group is to keep a perspective on what we're doing professionally and how we react and we reflect ourselves as young men and future leaders of America as we go through our high school endeavors to become leaders of America. We certainly want to encourage and excite everyone to come in and bring new ideas and refresh your skills in being our leaders as we go forward into the new environment in America. If there are any questions, I'm certainly available at any and all times. I encourage everyone to weigh in, lay in, and come in. Thank you, brothers, and I await further guidance.
Thank you, Brother Reese. Brother Howard, you have the seniors this year. We're going to take them out. Do you have anything you want to share with them or share with Project ENRICH?
Okay. Good morning, brothers. Good morning, parents. Good morning, students. I am John Howard, 12th grade team leader. I'm super excited. I took over this group their sophomore year. So this is the culmination of 3 years of the work that they've been doing with Project ENRICH. I'm going to scare them right now. We're not going to do a lot of talk about applying for colleges because you should already be in that mode right now. But we're going to talk about the skills, as Brother Riley said, critical thinking and making sure you're all ready and prepped for graduation and what comes after. So I look forward to this year. Good morning.
Thank you, Brother Howard. All right. Me and Brother Gibson are going to take on the 11th graders. He has agreed to join me this year. I'm so grateful for this brother. I known him for a while. I missed him for the past couple of years, but I got him back. So that's all that matters at the end of the day. So we're going to take the 11th graders and we're going to try to build a curriculum around all the topics that we have established throughout the year and get the kids to take care of everything early. And I know Brother Howard told us this week about schools not worrying about SATs and ACTs, but the only problem with that is if you want the money, you got to show the scores. If you want the money, you got to show the scores. So if you can take your time and get your grade, make sure you maintain your grades, get your maintaining your GPA, and take your SAT or your ACT test and see where you place, especially in the springtime. Because when you come in the fall as a senior, I don't want you to be focused on trying to do a whole lot of exams. You should be trying to exit high school and elevate yourself into college. Brother Gibson, anything you want to say to the 11th graders and to Project Enrich that I might have missed? Or I know you're going to add a lot.
Thank you, everybody. I'm Andrew Gibson. I am actually an alumni from Project Enrich. I'm a member of Gamma Pi chapter of Omega Psi Phi, but I graduated from Project Enrich in 1998. Was sort of my introduction to the fraternity, and just it was one of those great things that helped me build my resume as I prepared to get ready to go to college. I went to North Carolina A&T State University. And you know, a lot of what we did during Project Enrich definitely prepared me for college. Time management, building my resume, essays, and some of the things that, you know, some of the stuff that we do that the teens may not love, but it's stuff that is definitely going to help you and prepare you for college. So I appreciate James for reaching back out. I kind of started my family, and I got little kids, and so I've been off the scene a little bit, but Brother Riley is in the same boat as I am, and so we decided we're going to work together and help each other during this, and I'm looking forward to being a part of the program and working with the teens, and especially the juniors specifically, and doing anything I can do to help further the program. So thanks, Brother Riley.
Thank you, Brother Gibson. For the 10th graders, we got Brother Crump, and Brother Blake, I'm going to come back to you after the 9th graders. I see you back on. Brother Crump?
Greeting 10th graders and parents. Again, Jay Crump. I had some of you guys, I started off with the 9th graders last year. I hope we got some that are returning this year. I don't see as many, not to say faces, but names that I recognize. So, but in any event, I hope to have a great year. We are obviously under different conditions with COVID-19. And so I do express my gratitude for those who are still coming and taking part in Project Enrich, as well as, you know, hoping getting their kids up and making sure that they turn on their Zoom or WebEx as it is today. I look forward to really going over the importance of grades right now, joining certain clubs and activity, and making sure that you're in, even though there'll be virtual activities in your 2020-21 school year. Obviously, we'll have Brother Riley has put together a great agenda for the year. We'll be going over those things, but I want to also express to you how important during the course of the time, how important the grades, and make sure that you start joining clubs and joining activities and getting your school resume together, so that next year, you know, it's all about, you know, you really got to kind of put the foot to the metal, and it won't be such an issue, and you'll be used to it. So again, I express my gratitude for you guys coming out again. That's for everybody. We all express our gratitude, the chapter, the whole Project Enrich staff. I hope that, you know, given the circumstances, I think, you know, we don't have, I see as many people, but if those folks could reach out, the people that are here to reach out to other schools, people, students that they may know of, because I think what we have to say and what we're giving in what Brother Riley is going to profess during the entire year is very important. So again, thank you, and look forward to going forward.
Thank you, Brother Crump. And we have Brother Anthony Smith and Brother Clark are going to take on the ninth graders. Brother Clark's not here. Brother Smith, you have anything for the ninth graders and Project ENRICH this year? Oh, let me unmute you, brother. All right, there you go.
Morning, can you all hear me?
Yes.
My name is Anthony Smith. I'm new to Project ENRICH. It's my first year working with the program, but I too benefited from a program sponsored by the frat in New Haven, Connecticut, which was Young Men's Leadership Group. Looking forward to working with the ninth graders. I think the focus for the year will be to start off high and, as Brother Crump said, start building your high school resume, joining activities. Also, SAT prep. My sister, who does SAT tutorials, she indicated that SAT prep should essentially start in the 8th grade, and they should have mastered it by the 10th grade. So that should also be a focus. So I'm looking forward to working with the ninth graders. Got a lot of things planned. That's it.
Okay, thank you. And Brother Blake, did you get back on? But if not, I know he shared with me that he wants to welcome everybody. Charles Drew has provided over $25,000 in scholarships last year to our first-time students that are attending college. We also want to let you know that we offer 4 additional follow-on scholarships as well. They're not guaranteed, but we do offer them if the monies are available through grants and donations that we receive from individuals that are so kind to donate towards Charles Drew to provide scholarships for students in Prince George's County. And on another note, I would like to talk about, before we take our 5-minute break, is there any chapter leadership? Did any chapter leadership join us yet? Okay.
And I think you were going to talk about Brother Blake. Was he on?
Oh, you didn't hear me? Oh, no. He was supposed to talk about Charles Drew, so I just mentioned about the scholarships. He told me to mention the scholarships. Okay. Yeah, so he just wanted me to mention the scholarship. He texted me and told me to mention the scholarships.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't.
Yeah, I was looking for him, and then I looked at his name, and I see on the thing it says mention scholarship. So that's what I was looking for, and then I'm looking for see if any chapter leadership on. I don't see any chapter leadership on at this moment. So we're going to take looks like a 10-minute break. And then we're going to get ready for Brother Rashawn Baker and Delegate Nick Charles to talk about the importance of voting and the review of the Prince George's County ballot. But before we go, is there any questions from any students or parents about Project ENRICH this year? The insight that we provided, the direction that we're going, any confusion, understanding, anything of that nature? Please speak up if anyone wants to say anything.
And Brother Riley.
Yes.
This is Joe Reese.
Yes, sir.
Not to impose, but I want to take a second just to welcome back our parent support group and thank them for all they have done in the past and encourage them to please feel free to jump in and assist us when and where they can, because their support and their help has been instrumental in our level of success in this program over the years. I certainly appreciate them being outspoken and helping us to encourage our students to be professionals and become professionals as they grant through their high school days heading toward collegiate affairs. Thank you, brother.
Yes, thank you. And I'm glad you said that. I forgot to mention the parent club and Brother Joe Jenkins, are you still in charge of the parent club? I meant to ask you a few weeks back.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, Brother Joe Jenkins.
Good morning, everybody, especially students, parents, Project Enrich, and the fraternity. Yeah, definitely want to stay on board. I would request from a parent or two that we kind of co-chair so that we can establish an agenda, and tag along with Project Enrich and fraternity in terms of what we want to do for the students outside of the curriculum that they have for the year, that we could support the students' endeavors, especially the juniors and seniors, but of course the overall program. So I would right now ask any parent, or at least one or two, to co-chair with me this year. Right now, I'm working some heavy hours with the U.S. Postal Service, and so we're getting prepared for the election, and we run right into the holidays, so we're ramping up as we speak, and then of course we've been extremely busy throughout the pandemic, so I could definitely use your support. So if we could have a taker or two to co-chair with me, that'd be fantastic. But other than that, I just want to welcome all the students back and encourage others to come that may need our support. So, you have friends that are probably in the same boat, that are, getting ready for college and so forth, and may need some guidance. So encourage your fellow students or your friends to come on board and register with the project through the Project Enrich website, and then join us. That's all I have, Brother Ron.
Thank you, Mr. Jenkins. Brother Blake, I see you back on. I'll let you talk about Charles Drew. Hold on, let me unmute you. All right.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. I apologize for my little technical difficulties this morning. Just wanted to greet everyone on behalf of the Charles Drew Memorial Scholarship Fund. Wanted to just say, I know Brother Riley and his team has an exciting year planned out, and some good things basically kind of laid out during these difficult times. And I also want to remind the seniors, the parents and the seniors, that to remember starting in January, end of January, to apply for the Charles Drew Memorial Scholarship Fund. That's pretty much it. Just want to welcome you guys. Hope everything is good. Hope you have a good experience. Take all you can from this, and I'm sure you all do well. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Blake. So we finally got Charles Drew on. Is any chapter leadership on that want to address Project Enrich before we take our 5-minute break? Okay. Well, I will set the timer. If we can be back at 10:05 to be ready for the presenters, that would be great. I'll see y'all in 5 minutes. Thanks for joining. All right, is everybody back?
Yes. Oh.
All right. Kevin Ford, are you there? I guess he's not here. All right, as we start our presentation from Brother Rashawn Baker III and Delegate Brother Nick Charles, let us all make sure we mute our phones and give these brothers our undivided attention. David Jackson, is K Ford available?
No, he had to jump off. He's in training with Brother Fields right now.
Okay, all right. I just want to make sure. I just want to let them know that Brother Rashawn Baker was on. Okay, so I'm gonna mute everyone, and then I'm gonna allow these young brothers to give their presentation, and then I have 2 questions for the brothers right after they finish up, and then any questions that you guys may have, please raise your hands and be called upon, and then we can allow them to answer the question. Brother Rashawn Baker III, this is your floor.
Oh, thank you. Good to be here, and I'm so happy to once again participate in Project ENRICH. Done a great job over the years, and I should say to Delegate Charles that when I was a delegate, I participated in this. So I'm looking forward to our presentation and to the young people out there. I'm going to be real brief because I do want Delegate Charles to speak, but there are a couple of things I think are important about voting, and especially about this particular election. The first one is people always get ginned up about the presidential election, and that is important. But what we want people to remember is it's important for us, one, to go out and vote in the presidential elections. But given the times that we're living in, especially what you see going on with the Supreme Court, with the U.S. Senate, it's equally important to understand that those who we're electing at the local level are going to have a great impact on our lives. And by that, I mean, if we get a Supreme Court that starts reversing a lot of the gains that we've seen, whether it's voting rights, whether it's participation in our voting process from our returning citizens, those who are coming from our jails and prisons, whether it's dealing with redlining, which happens to deal with mortgages and things that affect us as a community. Those issues are going to be passed from the federal level down to the local level. So people like Delegate Charles and County Executive Alsobrook are really going to be dealing with the issues that we're, in the 60s and 70s and even in the 90s, we went to the federal government for help. We as a community, we're now going to have to look to those local level people. So I think it's very important for our young people in this project to understand we need to make sure that we're voting and paying attention to what's going on at the local level. So who's running for school board, who's running for delegate, we've got who's running for U.S. Senate. Final thing is, and I'll turn it over to him, there are a couple of ballot initiatives that we're voting on this year. 2 that I've spent a lot of time talking to my daughters who are in their 20s about the importance of this. One is the county will put ballot initiatives that deal with bonding, and that is the ability of Prince George's County and counties like this or the state to go to Wall Street and actually sell bonds. We don't pay a lot of attention to that. Not a lot of campaign material is put into those issues. But as I explained to my daughter is, if we don't sell those bonds on Wall Street, then we can't build the libraries that you're asking us to build in the community. So if you don't vote for the bonds or vote against if you don't want a library built, then we can't do those things. Same thing with road construction. You'll see bond bills that have to do with raising money to build roads. Those are the roads and highways that we drive on in Prince George's County and in Maryland. And if we don't have the resources to do that, we can't fix them up. And so it's really important for us. And I think as a fraternity, I'd like, especially as Gamma Phi, for us to really pay attention, educating people around these ballot initiatives that are important. The final one is circuit court judges. Every year, judges are appointed for a period of time, about 15 years for circuit court judges, but they have to be elected, retained in the next election. Circuit court judges are the people that are making decisions about criminal cases, federal, those cases that affect us, whether police brutality, all of those things are coming before circuit court judges. And so we need to pay attention to the judges that have been appointed and also the individuals who are just running to be a judge. Sometimes we have some folks who are running, who seem like really good people, but they may not have the experience to pass judgment the way that we want to. And so those are the things that now that I've been out for 2 years, that as I look as to what's important for our young people to pay attention to, those are the things I want to make sure we don't we don't miss over or look over as we're paying attention to the presidential election, which is vitally important. But as important is those local elections that are going to have an impact on us. With that, I'll be quiet and let Delegate Charles talk.
Thank you, Brother Baker. Thank you, Brother Riley, and thank you to the brothers of Gamma Pi. As I look around at all of the videos, I see everybody in shirt and tie, and as you see, I'm in the car. I am in a in a jean shirt and a green jacket. So listen, I'm not home, so please forgive me for not being in proper Omega attire. So I'll start with that. But I think that Brother Baker, our former county executive, has touched on some very important issues, and he's touched it in a critical way that I think you all should be able to take that away and understand just how important it is for this upcoming election. Throughout in the state of Maryland, we have 2 separate election cycles, really 3, that we really need to make sure we focus on and pay attention to. One of the things I didn't hear Brother Baker bring up, a lot of the municipal elections as well. We have folks, different municipalities throughout the state of Maryland and in Prince George's County. In my district alone, I have the city of District Heights and I have the town of Morningside. And you got to take those elections, make sure those are very important and on the forefront of your mind if you live in a municipality. Like we have one of our brothers right now who's the mayor of Bowie, and that was a municipal local race as well. But he brought up some key issues as far as making sure you pay attention to folks like myself who are running and changing laws that truly impact us on a very local level, but it impacts us across the entire state of Maryland. And it's critical that a lot of us know who our state delegates, who our state senators are. So I would ask that if there's a way in here, if everybody even knows their state delegates are. I think for us brothers in Gamma Pi and the students, especially the students that's coming up and are able to vote this coming election, we're going to be focused on the president, and we'll be focusing on our congressional seat, and we'll be focusing on the school board members. But in 2 years, we'll be focusing on the folks that really make the laws that impact us on a daily basis, especially with what we have going on right now in America. It is trickling down into every single state and every single local government where we're looking at police reform across the country. We're looking at making sure we have the right type of prosecutors in place that will actually prosecute issues that can help our communities and not over-police or over-incarcerate our communities. We want to make sure we have judges that bring in a vision where we don't believe that every child needs to be put behind bars, and we have programs in place that our kids can actually get a second chance. But sometimes we lose sight of that in our communities, and our kids don't get that second chance that they deserve. So we want to make sure we have those things. I know I worked with our current state's attorney, Aisha Braveboy, past session, make sure we put a program in place that would allow for our kids to get second chances. So it's a lot that's going on right now. He mentioned the ballot initiatives as well, and I thank you for that, Brother Baker. He left the two ballot initiatives for me to discuss. I think those are very critical for you to be able to understand and to make your decision. Ballot question one, right now in the state of Maryland, Maryland has one of the weakest, the legislature has one of the weakest budget authorities in the country. And the governor has one of the strongest budget authorities. So typically when we pass the state budget, we have no more authority to go in to move any dollars around, to reallocate funds any way that we believe the community needs to have resources allocated. And why is that important? The state legislators, as state senators, we know what's happening on the ground floor. We're there in the communities. We see those issues happening every day. When the governor is making a decision, he's looking at it from a macro level, and we're looking at it from a micro level. So when we decide that we want to make changes, this would allow this, with you all voting on question one, it would allow for us to go in and make those adjusted changes. But it would also give the governor the veto authority over that line. Right now in the state of Maryland, the Democratic Party has a supermajority, which we can override any vetoes. Once again, I'll dive into why that's important. Right now, when we look at some of these issues with folks being evicted, there's evictions coming up. We're trying to figure out how we can move resources around, make sure we protect people from evictions. And it's been a fight right now with the governor's office to make sure that we can put resources towards that. If he decides he doesn't want to take that initiative, we're in a position we don't have anything that we can do. So we go back to our constituents without any power to do anything. Another thing that's going on right now, it's a very controversial topic, but you hear people talking about defunding the police. What does that mean? What does that mean of defunding the police? Should we have school resource officers in schools? Some people believe that we should be taking resources from the schools, from the police department, and putting it towards making sure we have more mental health providers in schools. Some people believe. Okay, sorry about that.
It's just a poll, Nick. It's just a poll. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. It's just a poll.
Oh yeah, no, thank you, bro. So the other, some other things. I was talking with a couple of constituents in my district, and they brought up an issue. All of our kids are going to school from home, and they're sitting in front of computers 24/7, and their eyesight is getting bad. What type of screen protectors can we put on these computer screens? Make sure our kids' eyes aren't being affected like this. Somebody has to pay for that. If the governor doesn't want to do it, and we're hearing it on a local level, being in a position where we can reallocate resources from one line item to another line item puts us in a position where we could truly help our constituents on a more local level, and still give the governor the authority to veto that line if he doesn't agree with it. So those are some of those key things that we need to focus on for question one. And question two, right now, throughout the country, we have multiple states who already allow for online sports betting and for sports bets. So you probably heard of FanDuel, DraftKings, those guys. They are taking resources from the state of Maryland, because if you do sports betting, you're doing it, and that money's going to other jurisdictions, not going to the state of Maryland. As a lot of you are aware, when we did question 7 to initiate bringing in MGM Casino, thank you to our brother for bringing that in. A lot of people had a lot of ideas that it wasn't going to be beneficial to our community, and look at what it's doing now. It's one of the number one producing casinos in the state of Maryland. It's one of the number one destinations in the state of Maryland. When people come into Maryland, they have to come to Prince George's County because of our good brother, Rashawn Baker, by moving the way he has, make sure that we get something of that caliber in the county. But sports betting, this just adds, it's another tool for resources. Just like anything that's happening in your home on a daily basis, when bills come up, you got to find a way, and you don't have but one job, you have to figure out ways to bring in more resources. So that means you got to go get a second job. If you got to go mow some lawns, you got to figure out ways to help pay those extra bills. And that's the same thing when we start looking at the budget for the state of Maryland for the local governments, for the counties. We have to find other ways to bring in resources. And this is just another feather in the cap, another way to bring in money. Is it going to solve all the problems? I will not sit here and lie to you and tell you that it's going to solve every single problem. When you look at the Kerwin Commission and it tells you how much money that our schools are underfunded across the entire state of Maryland, this is not going to change the world, but it's going to be a great help by bringing in additional resources. We have to find ways to bring in as much money as possible to curb and to refund and make sure our schools get all of the resources that they deserve. And so this is just a step into that direction. It's not an easy fix. It's not going to, make everything perfect. So I will not sit here and, like I said, tell you, brothers, that this is going to change the world. But for me, I'm voting for it because it's just another feather in the cap. It's that second job you would get if you were in need of paying to get your roof replaced, but you only got one job. You may not be able to get the entire job done, but you can buy the shingles at least, put on the roof. So, those are two of the ballot initiatives that I think you all should definitely vote for. I'm voting for them. And for a lot of our students that's on here, you're 18. If you haven't registered to vote, do that. At this point, you should have gotten your ballots in the mail by now. And that's another issue. Our current governor, because of COVID-19, we do not have all of our voting locations open. And then we only have a certain amount of drop box locations. And then with the federal government, I heard somebody on here speaking earlier about the post office and the issues with the post office. A lot of folks are scared and nervous that if they put their ballot into the mail, that it's not going to get there because of the federal government, the current president, what he wants the post office operations. So I ask all of you brothers to take your ballots, fill it out, and go drop it off into the actual drop boxes. Or if you feel comfortable enough, go to your actual some of the polling locations. And just to make sure you understand, your current polling location may not be open this year. So you have to go to the Maryland Board of Elections website and look at every single location that's open. We only have a number of locations. So it's not going to be where you normally go every single year. It's a whole new list of locations. Some of those locations have been used for early voting throughout the years, but they've added additional locations so that we can open it up. You're talking about over 1 million people in Prince George's County. So we want to make sure we get as many of these folks out as possible. And also, if you haven't already, do your census. That's one of the most critical things when we start talking about education, we start talking about funding that comes from the federal government. All of those things that we're looking for from the federal government are circled around the census, circled around our census. For the business owners in here, when you start talking about HubZone certified companies, if you're a federal government contractor, those are determined by your census tracts. So we want to make sure we got the proper information. We know how much folks are making. We know if our communities are qualifying as hub zones. Because if you don't know about that already, for you business owners here, there's billions of dollars that are set aside for hub zone contracts in the federal government. And a lot of the federal agencies currently do not meet their mark with actually giving out hub zone certified contracts. So that's one of those critical things when we start talking about job creations in our communities. If we know what's really happening, we can start tackling that and putting our local businesses and even the folks within the community. Because for hub zone certified companies, what you have to hire at least 30% of your staff on that particular contract has to live in the hub zone. So that creates opportunities within our for the workforce in our community as well. So it's so many things that's going on. This coming election is, a lot of folks are focused on the president, but don't lose focus on the next 2 years. A lot of you probably seen the video of the young brother that's been rapping, had the gold hair, talks about why people don't like to vote and then why people should start voting. And he talks about the presidential election. But you got to go back every 2 years because if you don't know, Congress is elected every 2 years. And I don't think we're going to have that problem here. with the brothers in Gamma Pi or with the students, because I believe we'll end up having our true representation that we deserve right here in Prince George's County. But I think one of the things we can do to start helping, I don't know if you have anybody has reached out to try to help with the Biden campaign and phone banking, because we can lend a helping arm to trying to get people out to vote in Virginia, make sure we flip that swing state and get folks to go out for congressional election and also for the presidential election. And if we can call down to Florida, we can start calling down to Texas and helping the Biden campaign, if you are a Democrat, to help get people out to vote. So I'll stop with that. I know I didn't gave you a whole lot to chew on, but if you have any questions, I'm always here for you, brothers. Just let me know.
Thank you, Brother Charles. Thank you, Brother Rashawn Baker. So I have two questions for both of you brothers. Rashawn Baker, you're the seasoned brother. I'm going to let you go first. I know you have a birthday coming up end of this month. Any special plans? That's my first question.
Well, yes, I do. I'm actually going to spend this birthday with my wife quietly. So unlike Delegate Charles, where he's on the go because he's still in office, I get this chance that I haven't had for a long time to just quietly turn 62 at home. So I'm looking forward to it.
Okay. The second question: what advice would you give a person looking to become a politician?
Well, I think that this is a good way. Being involved in Project ENRICH, where you're learning about the communities and the issues that affect the community you want to serve. A lot of times people think getting involved in politics or wanting to run for office, and Delegate Charles can probably speak better to this, is, you're volunteering on a campaign or you're interning on Capitol Hill, which I did. Really, if you want to be an effective public servant, if you want to run for office, it's really doing the things in the community, helping with voter registration, helping with in the schools with reading programs, understanding where the community lacks what it needs. So in our case, in Prince George's County, a big issue for us when I was in office and still now is the fact that there's a health gap. In a wealthy county, we have a disproportionate number of people who aren't receiving the type of health care that they need. Understanding those issues. Returning citizens, we talked about that. And that's some of our brothers and sisters who've been incarcerated and are coming back and need that second chance. So I think if you look at the issues that you care about and what you want to work on, that's going to make you an effective representative to our constituents. And the last part about that I say to folks all the time is, if you don't want to get out in the community, go to churches, go to PTAs, and understand the people you want to represent, don't run for office. Because if you don't want to really understand what the needs of the community is, then you're going to not like the fact that that's your job. Your job is to represent, understand, and bring back information, and sometimes tell people what they don't want to hear. Brother Charles talked about, MGM. That was something people didn't want to hear. They were like, we don't want it. It's going to be bad for us. Well, because you're in elective office and you get the information, it's going to be good for the county, and so these difficult decisions you have to make in the best interest. But that's what I would say. Get involved in your faith community, get involved in programs like Project ENRICH, and get involved in the community, and then bring those to bear.
Thank you, Brother Sharon. And Brother Charles, I got two questions for you. The same question. You got a birthday coming up in December. What you have any plans during this pandemic?
Oh man, I may go up to Deep Creek, man. I've been thinking about getting a couple of my folks together, man, and going up into the mountains, and kick it there until session starts. So we go into session in January. We're still trying to figure out how that's going to even work with COVID. You've been up there, bro, Riley, up to Annapolis, and see how close we sit next to each other on the House floor. And I tell you, I'm not trying to sit next to anybody coughing over my shoulder. How close we sit during COVID. So I'm definitely during my birthday. I'm definitely trying to make sure and hoping that leadership makes the best choice for us how we go back to session and how this is going to work. So I'm still waiting to hear how that's going to happen.
All right, I hear you. So you're coming on your 2 years in the position. So what advice, same question that I gave to Return Break, what advice would you give a person that wants to follow in your footsteps or, become a politician? What advice would you give them?
Brad Baker had laid out. I actually volunteered. I was one of his precinct captains. During the election, I knocked on a bunch of doors for him in the Forestville community where I grew up. So that's a part of it. People talk about the difference between it being a good campaigner and being a good legislator. Those are two completely different things. You can campaign all day but suck at being a legislator or an elected official. But for me, a lot of it started when I first came home from the military. I bought a house in the neighborhood I grew up in, moved right back home, and started off on the board, our civic association board. And so I was the president, and I started off as a treasurer. Then I was president for 7 years. And that daily, getting all of the calls. You're not getting paid for it. It's all free. You're getting all of the calls, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock at night, 2 o'clock at night, 3 o'clock at night, with all of the problems that's happening in the community. And you have to be willing to put in the work and do that. I also joined the Prince George's County Young Democrats, and what that did is it put me around a lot of the other elected officials, understanding what all of the positions are. Because I'll be honest, when I first came home from the military, I had no idea what a state delegate was. I had no idea what a state senator did. I thought a state senator, and a U.S. senator was the same exact thing. But you got to understand what all of those positions are. You have to understand what everybody does. Look at all the elected positions across the electorate, and then look at what do they do, how do they impact me, and then find out who that person is. How does that change? Like what their ideologies are, and once you understand that, then you can put yourself in a position where you can start building up to meeting the criteria that you want to set for those folks. When you're able to meet the criteria that you set for other people, I think that makes you a better candidate for any elected office, because you can't want to hold somebody accountable to do something that you're not willing to do yourself.
Okay. Now, also, do they still offer civics in Prince George's County in the schools? Someone was saying that they had taken civics out.
I don't know if they do or not. Sharon, do they still offer?
No, it is. There was a movement, and I think it will come back up. Make it a part of the criteria like it was. I mean, you're too young to you guys are too young to know that. But there are a couple of us out here who remember civics.
They had it at Largo when I was there.
I had civics.
They had civics at Largo.
Well, Largo always did a good. You know what? Largo always did a good job with their government and civics. Is one of the few places in the county that have it. But yeah, there's a big push to bring the civics back because people don't understand. Students are coming out, just like Delegate Charles said, are coming out not understanding what their state delegate does, what their state senator does. And the problem that has is people don't understand where the real power lies in their life. When Brother Charles was talking about the budget, and we're hearing all this talk about Obamacare, which is really good for us. But if that's struck down, what happens is if you lose healthcare on the federal level, all of that comes down to the state. So people like Delegate Charles are going to make decisions on our healthcare. They're going to make decisions on how much college is going to cost us in the state. They're going to make decisions on police reform. It's not going to be a federal bill. It's going to be a local state bill. So having the civics that people understand that impact. And the last thing that I meant to say, and I'm glad Delegate Charles brought it up, is in Prince George's County, we have 27 municipalities. We have the most municipalities of any jurisdiction in the state of Maryland. That means each of these towns and cities are developing, they have the ability to raise taxes there, to collect trash. I mean, it all has an impact, development. And so having civic engagement so that our students and the students who participate in this program understand that those local elected officials are going to have more to do with your life than the federal. I'll end with this. I thought originally when I wanted to get into politics, I wanted to run for Congress, and it was spending a session with Mike Arrington when he was a delegate that changed my mind. I was like, everything that's affecting my wife and I and our children, this guy's making a decision of it in Annapolis. So I was like, forget Congress. I want to go. I want to go here and have that impact.
I got you. So I got some questions that came in. First question for either one of you can take it. What sort of classes and education should our students look into if they are interested in politics?
Well, if the school doesn't have a civics course, I think that's where we come in as a fraternity and create those type of opportunities to teach our kids until we can get the school on course, and then as a fraternity, as a chapter, start reaching out to the school board so we can put those type of classes back in place. Once again, I know you have put a poll in who knows their elected officials are, but who knows who their school board member is? For every person that's in the county, who's your school board member? And have we had that conversation with the school board members to say we want to have civics back in the class for the students? And I'll be quite honest, even when I took civics, but I wasn't able to translate it into actually understanding what it meant. We had to do a better job at just telling people what it does and telling them about the position, but make it a real world situation where folks are actually, we didn't visit the state house, we didn't visit the county building, we didn't visit the county executive, we didn't visit the county council members, we didn't visit our school board members, we didn't visit the Sasser building to talk with the superintendent, we didn't visit the local municipalities, we didn't understand that the chief of police and everybody reported to the county executive. I didn't understand any of that, even taking a civics course. I think when we do something like that, even with the brothers with Project ENRICH, I think that's something we can do with the kids. Bring them full circle to understand who everybody is, who their current elected officials are, what their jobs are. Take them to where all of the laws are actually passed. Let them understand, especially bring it full circle to what's happening on the news right now. You don't understand how to make the impact if you don't know what the problems are and what person can actually fix that problem.
Okay, I got another question. Let's see. How do we get voters interested in participating in local elections since those races do not get the same media attention as national elections?
I'll say this. I think Brother Charles had a really good suggestion for us, in Gamma Pi, and that is, using our platform to actually elevate those local races, because right now, the national TV, or even in our case, because we live in the Washington region, we're not going to get the kind of coverage for local issues that you would get if you were in my hometown of Springfield, Massachusetts, which is small. But we as a fraternity can reach out and say, hey, it's important to know who's on the school board. It's important to know what a circuit court judge does, because that's going to be on the ballot. It's important to know, as Brother Charles said, when I lived in Prince George's County as a law student, I didn't know what a county executive was. And I certainly didn't want to be one. And then I found out that's the person that's running, 1 million people that are here. It's 500 square miles. You have the authority to, you got a $3 billion budget or $4 billion budget now. But I think it's a good chance for us and other sororities and fraternities to really use our platform in other places to elevate those issues that are going to get overlooked. The presidential election is going to get coverage. The local elections, I think we have a civic duty to go out there and make sure our students and our citizens understand what it means at the local level. And I think that's how we as a fraternity can help, and how we can spark others to jump in with us. Last thing is, I did a thing when I was county executive called County Executive for a Day, which is we would pick 2 students that each month that would be with me, and just for a day, they did everything I did as county executive. We pick them up early in the morning and we drop them off late at night. Because, we want to get as many students as possible. They were high school students to get to understand what that means and what impact it has. And I think, doing something with the legislature, county council members, that might be something good for us to start to say to each of our, state's attorney, county executive, council members, delegates, senators. Hey, pick a school, adopt a school, and take some of those students and bring them in. And then final thing for Delegate Charles, the other thing I did as county executive was have Citizen Day. And that's a day with citizens, not lobbyists, but citizens could come in, for 30 minutes and tell me whatever, and they would tell me whatever. But it's a good chance of getting them engaged into the process. If you feel like you're being heard, then you react. If you don't feel like you're being heard, you kind of leave it alone. So that would be my suggestion.
Yeah, Rashawn. I had one of my constituents. She came out and did a day with me in Annapolis from first thing in the morning. Started off with breakfast to being in committee all the way until about 10 o'clock at night. And so first thing in the morning, we started about 8 o'clock, and then we didn't finish out till 10. And that was an easy day. That was an easy day. And for her, when she saw me, walk with me from my office to the Black Caucus meeting, from the Black Caucus meeting, rushing to get to the House floor, getting from the House floor back to my office to do a bunch of meetings, from those meetings to finally going to subcommittee meetings and doing my subcommittee meetings, leaving there, and then going to the actual full committee meeting, and then going from the full committee, sitting in those hearings all day, listening to every single person come and testify on the bills, leaving out to go try to sneak into another meeting with somebody while the hearings were still going on, and then going back to try to grab some lunch, sneak lunch in. One of the things she walked away with, she said, Nick, a lot of people say y'all don't do anything. Say legislators, y'all don't do nothing. She said, when I walked out there with you, it changed my entire perspective of what a actual state delegate and what a state senator does. I had no idea it was so much going on in that time. I didn't know it was that much going on prior to me running. I knew that it was a lot of work to it, but I didn't know that I would be running around like a chicken with my head cut off all day trying to get things accomplished. And it's a very good job, and it's a very fulfilling and rewarding job. I would tell you, brothers, that especially for somebody who grew up in the county. I was raised in Prince George's County, and for me to represent district that I was raised in, went to elementary school in, went to high school in, served on Andrews Air Force Base, all of this is in my district. My family's here. It's a very fulfilling and rewarding opportunity to continue to represent the folks that watched me grow up as a kid.
Nice. I got two comments and another question. One says encourage students to join their school's SGA. Then another comment is which Brother Rashawn and you spoke about prepare and inform seniors who are turning 18 years old about the importance of becoming a registered voter. So I think you guys talked about that. Got a question. Given the partisan division that we have in our politics today, both on a state and federal level, what do you think is the best way to close that division?
I'm gonna go first, and I'm gonna let Delegate Charles, because he's gonna be in the middle of this. I think because of what's happening at the federal level, which means that nothing's happening. You're not getting anything done in Congress. It's a stalemate. It was a stalemate when I was in office. It's really a stalemate now. What that means is everything now falls on Delegate Charles and the state legislature. They're the only place you can get stuff done. And so until we can actually break that log jam at the federal level, which is going to be a while, I'll be honest with people, because of the way that congressional districts are drawn, you're not getting moderates or people in the middle anymore. You're getting one side or the other of the extremes. So the only place you're going to have the ability is at the state level to see people work across. And so with that, I'll throw it over to Delegate Charles.
Yeah, and I'll piggyback on the state. Right now in the state of Maryland, we have a supermajority, which means that we have enough delegates to override the vetoes. We have on the Democratic Party side, and if you got a couple of Republicans in here to speak, they would probably say that they can't get anything done because there's so many of us on the Democratic Party side to play devil's advocate. It's a lot of us. We pretty much in the state of Maryland can get anything we want done as a body, but you still have the different fractions of the Democratic Party. I know we talk about the differences between the Democrat and the Republicans, but you have the super far liberal Democrats and you have the more conservative Democrats. So that's where a lot of the internal fighting happens in the state of Maryland when we start looking at policy issues and what we want to change. It's happening fights within the own Democratic Party and not the Republican Party. The Republican Party has been used as leverage a lot of times to get bills passed. And it probably was like that with you as well, Baker, when you was in the legislature.
It was, and I'll pose this question to you, Brother Charles. Is I know when I was there, it was less Republican and Democrat and more region. So if you're in the Washington region or you're in the western region of the state, that's where you're fighting over limited resources. Is it still that way, or has that kind of?
No, it's still that way. Which you end up seeing Baltimore City. Baltimore City wants their resources. Prince George's County wants their resources. So, and that reality is the big fight for the resources are coming from folks who are, which we should not be at the bottom of the totem pole, but Baltimore City are, the issues that the city's facing, issues that we face in our own county in Prince George's County when it comes to our schools and want to make sure we got adequate resources. That's where the fight comes in. The big fight with Kerwin this year was making sure Baltimore and Prince George's County got our fair share. Because we don't collect. I know we talk a lot about taxes when we talk with people, but we don't collect as much taxes as Montgomery County, because Montgomery County, if we're paying $1 for every $100 of the value of your house, and Montgomery County's house is $300,000 more valuable than the same exact house in Prince George's County, they're obviously making more money to be able to pay for their school resources. And then they have a higher income tax gap than we have in Prince George's County. So Montgomery County, they're the big dogs when it comes to having the financial ability to do a lot of things that a lot of other folks throughout the state don't have the resources. So you start seeing that fight as well between folks in Prince George's County wanting to get a fair share, but Montgomery County saying, hey, or the folks in Baltimore County saying, hey, or Anne Arundel County, So it's, the southern Maryland, the western counties, they get the screaming sometimes, but it's more so the Baltimore, Prince George's County, Montgomery County, really the fight.
Now I have some comments about 16-year-olds being able to vote in the state of Maryland as 11th graders and 12th graders. It says, go get registered early.
Well, I know some states, not states, but some municipalities had, I think it was City of College Park. They changed, they put a referendum in place to allow for students at the age of 16 to vote. In Maryland right now, you got to be 18 for the state. But some municipalities, and if that's something that everybody thinks should happen, that's something where, once again, we got to get folks, you got to make that a larger argument across the entire state where we can change the rules so that we can allow 16-year-olds to vote if they want to.
Okay. He said register, not vote. I'm sorry. And then another, how can students become poll workers? And do they get community service hours?
They students can become. You can volunteer. Believe me, every campaign is looking for poll workers, right? Right, Delegate Charles. And you can get community service hours at your school for that. that was the way I, got my son and all of his friends to volunteer on my campaign. They were like, what, are we being? I said, no, but you're going to get community service hours and you'll learn some stuff. So I think it's a good way. And the person who talked about joining the student government, that's actually also another one. I don't know if Delegate Charles was part of student government when he was in high school or middle school. I did it, and it would certainly. And then in college, I did student government. So I think that's a good thing.
I got a question for you too. Why are laws enforced different across jurisdictions in the state of Maryland? Many people think that we are not tough on crime in Prince George's County compared to other counties.
I think it all depends on who you talk to. You have some folks who think that we're too tough on crime, and some folks that think that we're not tough enough on crime. And it really all boils down to who's the prosecutor. When we talk about crime, the police, the county executive, as Brother Baker knows, he oversees the chief of police. The chief of police oversees the police department. That police department, they make the arrest. When they make the arrest, it's up to the prosecutor, the state's attorneys, and prosecute that case. And so that's a larger discussion, and to make sure we have the proper prosecutor, if they, determining what they want to focus on, and the same thing for the county executive and the police chief, what type of crimes they want to narrow in on to make sure that we are keeping our community safe. Rob Baker, you can jump in on this, being that you were the county exec and you had oversight of the police chief and so on and so forth.
No, you're absolutely right, and it gets back to a question that we've been talking about during this whole segment, and that is paying attention to local elections. It's local jurisdictions that are going to determine a lot of the individual laws in your county. So stuff that we actually think are violations in Prince George's County, once the state gives us the ability to do that, we can pass those laws in Prince George's County. The county executive can ask for it. The county council can vote it in, or the state. So if we don't like the way that either criminal justice is being done in Prince George's County or in Montgomery County, that's why we have to pay attention to who we're electing and what laws we're enacting at the local level. Because a lot of times the delegates and senators will simply give us the ability to make the laws ourselves. They'll give us the ability to say, hey, how do you want to enforce housing code violations? How do you reform your police department in Prince George's County? And how do you pick a police chief? The county executive picks the police chief. The county council passed the laws, and the state's attorney's office enforces them. And so I think it's really incumbent upon us to pay attention to the local elected officials. If you don't like the way something's happening at the local level, you can always go to Delegate Charles and his colleagues and say, well, we don't like what's happening in Prince George's County. We think you should pass a bill, a statewide bill saying this can't happen or this can happen.
Brother Charles, and I don't know if you have any internships, Brother Baker, but Brother Charles, how can a student become an intern?
So you go to my website. I have a link on there that actually talks about the internship opportunities. So if you go to nickcharles25.com, nickcharles25.com, and I have a link on there to apply for internship opportunities in my office or throughout any of the agencies throughout the state.
Okay. And I got a comment for the students, a website, morethanavote.org. And also, if you go to Brother Charles' website, as he mentioned, he has a list of multiple scholarships. I see you have a lot of scholarships listed on your website. Did you just update it on there?
Oh yeah, definitely got a lot of scholarships on there. And this is one scholarship opportunity. Your delegates and your senators, we get about $50,000 annually to distribute each for students within our own district for scholarships. So make sure you reach out to your state delegates and your state senators, and just understand you got 3 state delegates for every legislative district. So reach out to them and ask for the money. You know, it's yours, especially if your parents are paying the taxes. Ask for the money. And there's one other scholarship that I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about is the Coast Guard. A lot of folks they don't pay much attention to the Coast Guard, but it's this program called C-Spot, and they pay for you apply for your sophomore year of college, but they will pay your full tuition.
Hey, I'm gonna go ahead and block off that main entrance.
Somebody talking.
Who's that? I don't see him. Sound like a police officer.
Yeah. Okay. I think he's off now. But they will pay you $50,000 a year. They'll pay your full tuition, and you'll get a book stipend while you're in college. All you have to do is wear during summer of your 10th grade, your sophomore year in college. You go to boot camp for the Coast Guard. You come back. You show up once a week to a Coast Guard recruiting office in uniform, and that's it. And they're giving you $50,000 a year while you're in college. Then you graduate, you get your commission, and you have a job. One of the hardest things for a lot of folks when they graduate from college is finding that first job. You got a job automatically. You got a security clearance. It's such an amazing opportunity, and I know about this program because a good friend of mine, she used to be the program manager and ran it for the entire Coast Guard. So that's a great opportunity, and they only focus on HBCUs. So if you're a student at any HBCU, because there's a lack of black officers in the Coast Guard, they're looking to increase that dramatically.
I thank you for that information. That's very grateful, and definitely to the students, as Brother Charles mentioned about the Coast Guard. You can also look into the ROTC program. That's also an avenue to help assist with your financial burdens, and that's going to be probably one of our segments that we're going to talk about in January for our financial resources. Are there any questions? Any more questions? I don't want to hold these young gentlemen up. Any more questions? I'm looking in the chat before I let them go. No, I don't see any more questions, brothers. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you joining us and giving us good insight about the importance of voting and understanding the ballot questions. Because, you know, a lot of people say, well, why should I vote for the casino? And because I remember that question a long time ago. Why should I vote for a casino that's going to bring money to education in this county? You know, I mean, like Nick said, sometimes you got to go get a second job. You got to go get a second job, and you got to pay the bill. You know, if the state is only giving you a certain budget, you have to figure it out some way. You know, I mean, it's not like we're stealing from people. This is what people like to do.
Right.
You know?
and they were doing it, and we just weren't getting the money.
Right. They were going to Charlestown.
That's right. That's why it's important, though, I think. And thanks for having us. Certainly very proud of the work that Delegate Charles is doing in Annapolis. It's been a real joy to watch him work. We've got a great delegation from Prince George's County, but more importantly, I think young brothers like Delegate Charles are making a difference, not just here in Prince George's County, which is important, but their impact across the state is going to help those of us, especially the young people that are in our program, that are in our high schools and our colleges. So, you know, I want to commend him and his colleagues for doing the hard work. I will be, you know, drinking adult beverage while they're in session. But I will be praying for each and every one of you.
Brother Charles, any closing remarks to the students?
You know, what I will leave with the students is the fact that they are on here right now, testament that they actually want to see some changes. that they want to get impact and they want to change their lives in a way that they can be an impact on their community. So I asked them all to reach out to their delegates. Uh, don't stop with just showing up and being on this call today, but find out who your state delegate is. Find out your 3 state delegates. Find out who your state senator is. Find out who your county council member is. Find out who your school board member is. Find out who the county executive is and all of the heads of their agencies within. Find out who the governor is and all of the heads of the agencies within the governor's under his purview. Find out who the judges are, and reach out to every single one of them and let them know who you are. And if you have an issue, look at what their job duties are and bring that issue up to the right person. And when you're introducing yourself to them, I think that's a quick little test. Get a lot of you guys involved in understanding who your elected officials are, how you can voice your opinion. I get letters all the time. I get emails all the time. I get letters all the time. And if you don't want to send a letter and pay for a stamp, emails are free. Emails are free. So, I say reach out to every single person, and I would be happy, to get a CC on that email to see if you actually are doing it.
Thank you, brother Charles. Thank you, brother Rashawn Baker. I appreciate it. I wish you all of the success that you have going. I don't know if Rashawn, you got something going in the Pike. I know you joined the University of Maryland medical board, but anything else you have going on?
I'm working in a program, and I'm glad to be on the hospital board for the state. But I'm also working with University of Maryland College Park in a training for county executives and mayors from around the country, and really excited to talk about making sure we have the right type of leadership at the local level. I'm really concerned with the state and local, and so I'm glad to be heading that up. I have my own company, Baker Strategies Group, and we're working with Maryland, so it's great and exciting. Doesn't keep me as busy as Delegate Charles. And the last thing I want to say is to the students who are participating in Project ENRICH. Over the years, and it's been a long, time. Like I said, I was in the legislature in the 90s. But this program, the students coming out of this program have gone on to do some terrific things. It is a very useful program. So I would say to the students who are participating, thank you for doing this. You're doing yourself a favor. You're investing in your future as these men are investing in you, and it's always paid out. So it's a great program. I want to thank the brothers for doing it.
Thank you, brother. Brother Charles, how do you see your future in politics before you close out?
I'm happy being in the House. I get that question a lot. And I always tell a lot of folks, it's a lot of power in being a state legislator. And I think a lot of people, they say, oh, man, what's your next move? What you going to do? We have a lot of work to do in the state legislature. A lot of work. At the federal level, if you run for Congress, you're making laws that impact the entire country. If you're at the state level, you're making laws that impact the entire state. And I'm happy being at the state level to make those changes. And I just want to continue to grow and hopefully grow in leadership while I'm here in the State House. I know Brother Baker he's grown in leadership while he was here. A lot of our folks in the Prince George's delegation, when you look at the history of a lot of the delegates from Prince George's County, they have grown in leadership in tremendous ways that have been able to truly benefit Prince George's County. So I want to do that. I want to continue to grow in the position that I'm in and stay here in the House.
Okay. I have to say this real quick, because we can't go without saying that, when I watch Delegate Charles, it reminds us of our late brother, Yulee Curry, who rose to prominence in the state legislature. I mean, just think about this. This brother was over not only in the House over the budget, but in the Senate over the budget. And he spent his entire career in the state legislature and impacted a lot of lives and inspired folks like myself, and I'm sure Delegate Charles. So, you know, he is right where Delegate Charles is right where we need him. We need good people who are going to follow in the footsteps of Senator Curry. Sorry for running over.
No, you okay?
And we need some more brothers. You know, I will say this. I am the only brother in the House and the Senate. You know, Brother Nick Mosby from Pi Omega chapter has recently got elected as the city council president for Baltimore City. So I am by myself. And I need some 8, brothers. I need some 8. Come on out.
Thank you, Brother Charles. Thank you for sharing, Brother Baker. We're going to take a 5-minute recess and come back at 10:16. And I'm going to have, if Brother Walls is still on, chapter address Project ENRICH. I will see everyone in 5 minutes. Thank you. All right. Hopefully everyone is back. I thought I was sharing am I sharing my screen? Yes, I am. Okay. Am I muted? Can you hear me? Okay, good. So this right here is the way that I want the students and the parents to set their names. Well, the parents don't really have to put parent, but if you are able to use two different devices, that would be helpful, because when we go into our breakout sessions, I can have the kids placed in the rooms that they belong in, to interact with their team leads during a breakout session, to work whatever projects that we have in that session during that month. So I gave you an example, parents, James Riley, and then parent. You know, if you can, like I said, you don't have to. It just means you're going to stay in the general general meeting itself. As students, I gave you another example, James Riley, and then M9 means male, 9th grade. And then I did Jasmine Riley, F11 means female, 11th grade. So the reason why I say that, when we start back next month, our program is going to be from 9:30 to 10 will be updates that we may have for you, updates the students may have from us. From 10 to 10:30 is going to be broken out to the male and female section. Brother Reese is heading the male side, and Miss Kayla Randolph will head the female side. At 10:30, we're going to take a break, and then we're going to come back at 10:45 and do breakout sessions from 10:45 to 11:15. During this time, the students will work with their team lead for that assignment during that segment. As I mentioned, November will be critical thinking and civics polling. Excuse me. December will be college timelines and college planning. January will be financial resources and debt planning. February will be entrepreneurship and interviewing skills. March will be mental health. April is essay presentations, and May will be the senior program for the closeout of our program. So each session we will break out into breakout rooms that are that's going to be 9th through 12th, and you will interact with your team lead through a virtual interaction to do a critical thinking exercise. And then when we convene back at 11, well, we're going to take a break after 11:15, and then we'll convene back at 11:25 for closing. And then at that time, each class will present their breakout, whatever they came up with. But it's always going to deal with critical thinking. Are there any questions? And as anyone has anything, I'm going to give you an example of the breakout session, so you can talk with your team lead for a second, and we're going to try to give you a quick example of how it's going to work. So I am getting the breakout sessions together now. And the parents, if you're on a separate line, you will be sitting in the main session with Brother Blake and other individuals for a second. I just want to pull the students from away from you. That's if you are using two different devices. If you're not using two different devices, then I wouldn't be able to do it unless you go with the student. But is Brother Walls on? Would you like to address Project Enrich? Because I see your name on.
Yes, I am on. Thank you very much, Brother Riley.
The floor is yours, my brother.
Appreciate it. Good morning to all. Please forgive my tardiness. I'm currently up at Northwestern High School. Our chapter is involved in a food distribution at Northwestern High School this morning, and it's running hot and heavy. So I needed to break away just to give greetings real quick. I wanted to, even though they're not on the line, I wanted to thank Brother Nick and Brother Rashern for taking time out of their extremely busy schedules to talk to our students and parents about the opportunities that are available to them. I would really like to thank the students for their commitment, your commitment to success by participating in this program. And to the parents, we'd like to also thank you because you are investing in their development. And we need our young students and our young leaders, our young adults, to be able to access as many resources as they possibly can. You know, given the climate of our country and given that the leader of the free world is talking about our heroes and ancestors in disparaging terms, calling them monsters and nasty and all sorts of unforgiving names, it's important that you all remain focused on your success. And hopefully, by participating in this program and giving the best that is in you, you will see and reap the rewards real soon. So don't want to take up much more of your time. I know you all have to break out, go into breakout rooms. Just wanted to thank you all once again for participating. Thanks, of course, to our Charles Drew Memorial Scholarship Fund for the unyielding support of our program, and appreciate the recognition. I yield the floor back to you, Brother Riley.
Thank you, Brother Bosses. So as we break out to our first breakout session, Brother Reese, I'm sending all the young men to you. Kayla, Miss Randolph, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, I'm sending all the young ladies and any females, I'm sending them straight to you. So I want to give an example and show everyone how the breakout session is going to work. So hold on for a second. I'm about to move you. Oh, I like that. DJ, you moved yourself.
Hello?
Miss, what line are you on?
This is Cameron Green. Cameron Green needs to go to the young women.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on one second. Thank you for telling me.
No problem.
And Quentin Sims, male or female?
I'm male, 10th
Okay,
grade.
got you. I just want to make sure.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Hey, good morning, James. Michelle Dunn. I'm a parent. You can take me out of the ladies session. Not that I'm not flattered, but yeah, you can take me out of the young ladies session. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Well, you might be able to remove yourself too as
Can
well.
I? Let me
You should be
try.
able to remove yourself as well.
Let me.
But I'm about to move myself into the men group. If not, I will remove you from there. Let me see. Let me see. Move you. Remove. I'm gonna remove you.
Brother James, can you hear me? James Thomas.
All right, they should be pulling back into the main group again. I appreciate your patience. Thank you for joining us today. Let's see. There you go. All right, closing in 4 seconds. All right, everyone. Thank you for taking the day out of your time, your busy schedule. I know we all have a lot of stuff going on. To join us for the opening session for Project ENRICH. I wanted to show you and give you an example of how the breakout sessions will work. I kind of explained to you the timeline of how we were going to do our sessions and to show you how it could still be effective. Just because we can't meet face-to-face and in person, we're going to make sure we have an interactive virtual session that we're all working together as a team. So when we break out into our male and female session in the beginning, Brother Reese is going to head that up, and we're going to basically get the kids prepared with a male perspective going in for the month situation, and then the female perspective with Miss Kelly Randolph on the female perspective, and then from there we'll break into our breakout sessions after a short break, and then the team leads would take it from there and work on the session of coming up with a critical thinking method of solving some type of problem, depending on what the situation is. So that's how our year, it looks like it's going to work out. I don't know if anyone is going to volunteer to get the vaccine when it comes out. I know I'm not. I don't want to be no guinea pig. So I will wait a few months and see what the interactions and issues might be. I don't have to travel right now, so I am good. But is there any other insight before I give you some update from what the young guys talked about? Ladies, did y'all have anything in y'all breakout session that y'all want to share?
So I just introduced myself, and I had each of the ladies introduce themselves, and they shared with the group their passions as opposed to what they intend to go to school for in college. So we're going to find ways to incorporate that in our future sessions when we do our discussion. So.
Okay, great. And I know Brother Howard sent me example of the essay contest this year. So I'm gonna relook at it, and I'm gonna try to get that out to the students early. So you can't say that we gave it to you late. I want to make sure you prepared and you have enough time to do your essays, because we only asking 3 to 4 hours a month of your time. I'm requiring 9 to 12 from the brothers and the ladies, but I'm requiring 4 to 5 hours a month of your time. So we can do 9 to 12, you can do 4 to 5. But that's not saying the essay is not going to take a little bit of time. So I'm gonna give it to you early so you can learn how to, time management. But Julian Thomas has a project, and I wanted everyone in the main group to hear what he has going on. Julian, you want to tell the main group what you have going on?
So as I look forward to conclude my senior year, one of the programs that I'm in, Boy Scouts of America, about to start my Eagle Scout project. So my project is donating COVID supplies, so masks, cleaning supplies like hand sanitizer, pledge, stuff like that, to UCAP. It's a nonprofit organization in Seat Pleasant. And what they do is provide temporary housing for women and women with small children. So I posted my email in the chat, and I'll be taking donations between now and right before Thanksgiving, or the end of November. And so if you could just email me if you have anything to donate, I'll be in communication with you to suggest like drop up and pick up locations, and that'll be great.
Thank you. Brother Blake, did that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. You were talking, but I couldn't hear you. I got you, Brother Reese. I'll pass your information off. If there's anything else that we need to share before we end this seminar. So I'm going to consider all Project ENRICH virtual platform seminar, interactive seminar. Remember that, interactive seminar. I want the students to be interactive with us. Did anybody have any problems getting on? Okay. Having said none, I want to thank you again for you guys and parents to join us today and giving us your blessings to continue to install upon the information and resources that we can provide your kids. We're going to send out as much information as possible that we can while we're not meeting. And when we do meet, we'll work on some sessions that can help them increase their critical thinking abilities. And then I know, Drew Robinson, you mentioned about you're trying to decide on which school that you should attend. Well, that's what this is all about. We're going to help you with critical thinking, of trying to make healthy decision making for your finances, for college choices, what degree you should attain, and and that should help you with your profession after you get out of college. So this is a stepping stone to help you throughout your college life, and to make sure that you are on I want to say a train, not a roller coaster, but a train that coasts. I don't want you to feel that we are going to require too much of your time. I know a lot of students are virtual during this time, so all I'm requiring at this time is for you to show up, to be to participate, and to use your critical thinking, and we will do the rest. Are there any questions? Yes, Brother Reese. I was going to. I just want to make sure I had no questions.
Not me though.
I hear you, brother. No questions. All right. Let's close out with a prayer. Dear Father, as we came today to participate in Project ENRICH, we allowed you to speak through us and to give our words to the students, the parents, and ourselves, as we continue to uplift them and elevate them to understand what critical thinking and decisions they will have to make in their life, dear Lord. And let us protect them and look over them during this pandemic time, and to see the ways that are in front of them, allow them to see that the resources that are provided are they are what we call rife, resourceful, impactful, fruitful, and efficient. Allow that to seep into them and move them forward. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Thank you, everyone. Can all the team leads and Ms. Randolph stay on just for a second? as everyone else logs off. Let's see.
Can you move me on?
No. You stay on, brother. Stay on. I just letting the students sign off. Marlon, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing really good, my brother. Really good, really good.
Good. I'm glad you can join us.
I'm glad I could. I'm glad y'all sent the email out. I was like, yes. Let me get on.
Hold on, I gotta sign back in.
And my apologies. I got a virtual class going on in the background, so I'm muting both sides. But my apologies.
I got you. Well, I appreciate you joining us, brother. We do have some gaps to fill. And I guess throughout the next three weeks, we're going to figure it out and figure out how we're going to fill some of these gaps. But everything looks to be covered. But we always can use more brothers. We always can use more brothers and ladies, of course. I'm sorry, Miss Randolph. I didn't forget about you. We can use more ladies. So what y'all don't know, Miss Randolph is she's head of our training section at my office. So when I had got the email from Miss Reese stating her situation this year, I was just talking to Miss Randolph about looking into what I would, structure the program into and how I would go forward. So she immediately said, "Oh, I'll do that." So I said, "You sure?" I said, "Do you understand the obligation you're asking?" She excited said yes. I asked her again. I said, "Are you sure?" And she said yes. So I mean, she do it for us. She provide us with the resources, training resources, things of that nature. And then I felt that with the professional environment and what your wife had started, Brother Reese, I wanted it to continue from a woman's perspective on the professional side. And that's the same thing what I want to do on the male side. I know you had asked me at the chapter workshop. I didn't speak yet to you because I was still waiting for the leadership to tell me that I was taking over Project ENRICH. And a week before we had the workshop, they told me they want the slides. And I'm like, what slides? They was like, Project ENRICH slides. I'm like, well, you didn't say anything. So so that's the reason why we didn't have the conversation, brother. But what did you all guys think about the presentation from Brother Rashawn and Brother Charles? Was it fruitful for the kids? I tried to do a polling to ask a few questions.
No, I thought it was fun. I think probably a lot of the content may have been above their head.
Yeah, that's why I brought it back. That's why I tried to bring them back. Yep.
Yeah, but I thought that it was great for them to hear, and for the parents as well. But yeah, I think if we can get, especially well, we're not going to be able to have another session before voting the election, but I guess if we have somebody who could present based on each agenda topic, that would be great. So.
You talk so when he I keep hitting the lock button. So when you talking about the ballot, you talking about the ballot?
What do you mean?
You say each someone speak about questions.
No, I was just saying you're having. So, for instance, they discussed the importance of voting, and so that our topic of conversation was voting. Like that was November, right?
Right.
So December, what is it? It's what is it?
Critical thinking.
Critical thinking. So I was just saying, maybe we have somebody who can discuss critical thinking. Critical. Whether it be, I don't know what profession. I mean, it could be myself, a lawyer, or somebody, to discuss critical thinking. And whatever the next topic after that. That's just I just throwing that out there. I mean, I didn't, I'm not trying to
No. That's one of my things. Actually, Brother Allison called me this morning, and we was talking about that. He wants to make sure that what we haven't done in the past is we haven't collected data.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how are we impactful to the students? And that's something we're lacking, you know, with Project Enrich. We give it information, but how are we impactful? You know, and that's why I threw out, you know, some poll questions just to gravitate on the topic that we're talking about. And that's something that he wants to see and pull back, you know, from the students is, okay, doing beginning of the session, you know, ask them a few questions, allow them to, you know, poll their answers, and then at the end of the session, before they leave for the day, put the same questions up again and see have their answers changed. You know, we're not collecting data, and that's what he said. We're always been missing with Project Enrich is collecting data of how we are impactful to the students.
Does he mean that from a standpoint of real time, like you're suggesting, or does he mean that in the sense of folks who have maybe completed the Project Enrich experience gone through the 4 years and then have come back and say this is what we're doing, and so they're kind of giving insight, because that would kind of create or kind of show the impact, like what they may be doing in life afterwards. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I mean,
I think we can add the two. I think we can add the two, because we did do it last year. We had the students come back and talk about the benefits of Project Enrich, and then you heard Brother Gibson talk about the benefits for him. You know, he graduated in '98 from the program, and what it has done for him. So I think the two data points would suffice the situation.
Okay.
Now, Ms. Randolph, is there anything that you would need from? And I mean, I see you on Thursday at work, but is there anything that you would need from the brothers to help assist you to make sure that you are successful, and I'm not just setting you up to fail?
No, I can't think anything right now off the top of my head. I will tell you, looking at the agenda that you emailed me, I do intend to reach out to some of my colleagues from law school for some of the monthly topics and have them speak to the ladies on how, their professional careers relate to the topic of that month. So.
Okay, great. I appreciate it.
Excuse me, Brother Raleigh. I hate to interrupt, but may I?
Go ahead, brother.
Ms. Randolph, I'm Bill Reese. I haven't met you before, but what I want to do is I'm going to get Riley to give you my email address. What I want to do is just send you a copy of my wife started this thing. I'm going to send you a copy of the information she provided or that she went over last year, so you'll at least know what the initial actions were that she was doing with that. So if you'll just get my email address from him, send me a note, I'll provide that to you, and you can use it or not. Nothing influential, just to help you.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you.
His email is in the email address I sent to everybody. It's Bill Reese 13 at Verizon.net. It's in the CC line. I mean, in the he's one of the contacts, so you can look right on there.
Hey, Brother Raleigh.
Yes.
Let me interject as a parent.
Go ahead, brother. Brother Howard?
No, it's Brother Charles.
Oh, Brother Charles. Oh, go ahead, Brother Charles.
How you doing?
All
Hey,
right.
for example, I put something in the chat that said, you need to come up with some metrics to determine what type of data that you want to collect. For example, like today, with all the information that Rashawn Baker and Charles gave, measure, what did the students get from it? I mean, he one of the things I took from it is applying to scholarships. That's something that you can measure that, hey, we communicated through one session, scholarship opportunities. How many students took advantage of that? How many students applied for it? I mean, those are good metrics to say, hey, look, we're giving information, students are taking information and using it to their benefits. The second thing, you've been mentioning a lot about critical thinking. And one of the things I think, especially for the seniors and the juniors and sophomore and freshmen as well, but what skills are you trying to address in each session? I mean, because critical thinking is Are they trying to solve a problem? How do they think through that problem? And I'm not sure. Like for example, the seniors, they're well into this application process, man. And one of the things I'm working with my daughter, how you navigate through what the best school, the best fit for you, and also financially how it works for you. So those are things that they gotta walk through themselves, and that challenge their critical thinking skills right there to understand what should I be looking for when I'm trying to determine what college is best for me. So those just a little tidbit that I observed, being in Project Enrich for the last 3 years. So
Thank you, Brother Charles. I appreciate it. Yeah, so that's why the November session, we're going to immediately start out with critical thinking to help them throughout the next 6 sessions of how to break things down and really analyze certain topics. And then right after, that's why December is we're going to talk about colleges and college planning and, what decisions like as you spoke, what school should I go to? Why should I go to this school? Why not go to this school? That type of stuff is going to come up in December because, when do students really finalize what school they're going to attend? Normally it's springtime. But by that time, they should have received all the resources to make a healthy decision making. My H in my Project Enrich. Brother Smith, anything?
No, I'm sitting back observing. Everything seems to be well thought out, man. I thought the info session with Baker was great. Seems to be pretty good.
Okay. Thank you, brother. And we're going to, like I said, I'm going to still reach out to you guys throughout to make sure that we try to put something together that's going to be impactful for the students. Everything is through intellectual stimulation, which is my I in Enrich. So we're going to put something together and continue to elevate these students. And they say, like Brother Gibson said, this was impactful for me. I graduated in 98 and I came back to the program, to teach because it's impactful. And I spoke with him a few weeks ago and wanted to see if he, wanted to join back on. Because he has young kids and I have young kids, but I'm sacrificing, 9 to 12 hours a month. I'm trying to set aside to do this. And I'm asking the kids 4 to 5, and that's basically a little bit of time to put aside to write their essay and for the essay contest. And then this portion just to attend and be a participant in it. Let's see. Brother Jenkins, I see you still on. Any words before?
Ms. Randolph, if I may.
Yes.
My sister, she's a sophomore at Howard. This is for Mrs. Randolph. If you're looking for some young ladies to volunteer, she'd be willing to assist if you let me know. Because I know they're looking for some virtual volunteer hours.
Okay, cool. Okay, what is your sister study at Howard?
She is a Spanish major, international affairs minor.
Oh wow, cool. Okay, yeah. So I'll figure out because I'm playing around with the agenda topics to see like what I want to do with the breakout sessions. So yeah, we could figure something out to pull her in.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Brother Godfrey, anything?
No, my brother, but what you can put me on with anybody that needs help, and anybody that needs help, if you just contact me and let me know what I can do for you, I will do it in my downtime, and I will have it for you. Just let me know where you need me to fill in. Okay.
Okay, got you, brother.
Please don't put me on 3614.
Brother 364, I laid the season, brother, for last. Anything that I need to add to the list? Or what you think? How the session's going to go and flow and all that good stuff?
No, brother. I think we're off to a good start. I think what we need to do, my gut feeling was what we ought to do is try to have something like this executive session either one evening before, just to make sure everybody's understanding or there's no glitch going into a Saturday morning session. Again, no, I'm just thinking, critical thinking. If you want to do that, I think that would be a good idea. We can just have a 15, 20, 30-minute session to say, hey, here's what I need, I want, I would like to, I'm going to do.
Okay. Now, Brother Reese, remind me real quick. Did we have a meeting this week, all of us?
I may have missed it because I was over the White House all week, man.
No, you missed it.
Yeah,
And I talked to you that day.
That's
and
right.
You said, well, let me get my butt home so I can get on it. So you missed the executive session.
And I apologize. I intended to. The guy walked in my office and said, hey, we got to go to the White House. So I just jumped and ran, and I got home late, man.
I know you were busy, brother. But yes, to your point, we did do it. And I'll try to figure out the best day for us, because I want to make sure I can have everyone on, at least 95% of everyone on. And it was, we were like 30 minutes. Yeah, we was like 30 minutes, and then we was off. And that's all it was. We ran down through the agenda, and and we was done.
I'm sorry, brother. I appreciate it. I missed it. There are a lot of fires over here, man. You know where I am.
No, it's okay. And I was going to say, if Thursdays before Saturday, if that's a good day, because I know Fridays, date night and that type of stuff with the wife. We got kids, so I want to make sure we're not deviling to that time. So if Thursday or Wednesday, if Thursday is a good day, we can do Thursday. 20, 30 minutes and be done.
Well, normally any day is good for me, but I work over here with this idiot and the president, so I apologize. He just called up at the last minute. He said he didn't have coronavirus.
All right. Well, look, y'all enjoy y'all weekend. I'm about to go to the pumpkin patch with the family. I love y'all. God bless. See you next week at work.
Sounds good.
All right. Be good.
Peace.